Welcome to Lost Wilderness. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe. New scary stories are posted regularly, and let me know in the comments where you're listening from, whether you're driving, working, or alone at night. Now, let's begin. I used to work the overnight shift at a gas station just off Highway 17. If you've ever driven that stretch after midnight, you know how empty it feels. No streetlights, no nearby towns, just miles of black forest and the sound of trucks passing every 15 minutes. The station sat alone at a bend in the highway, two pumps on each side, one flickering sign that buzzed constantly, and inside a single row of fluorescent lights that made everything look pale and wrong. I started that job because I needed money fast. They couldn't keep anyone on nights. People would quit after a week, sometimes two. No one ever told me why. My first few shifts were uneventful. Drunk drivers buying cigarettes, truckers grabbing coffee, the occasional couple arguing quietly near the coolers. But on my fourth night, something changed. It was 2:13 a.m. I remember because I had just microwaved a frozen burrito and was watching the little digital clock above the lottery tickets. That's when the power flickered. Not fully off, just dimmed, then bright again. The buzzing from the sign outside grew louder, and then I noticed something that made my stomach tighten. There was a car at pump 3. The thing is, I hadn't heard it pull in. No engine, no gravel crunching, no headlights sweeping across the windows. It was just there, an old dark sedan, maybe late 90s, parked perfectly straight, driver's side facing the store. But no one was getting out. I waited 30 seconds, a minute, nothing. Finally, I leaned forward and squinted through the glass. That's when I saw him. He was sitting in the driver's seat, not moving, not looking at his phone, just staring directly at me. You know how sometimes you can't tell if someone is looking at you or just in your direction? This wasn't that. He was looking at me. His face was pale in the glow of the pump light, eyes wide, unblinking. He didn't blink once. I tried to act normal. I picked up a clipboard and pretended to check inventory. But when I glanced back up, he was still staring. After about 3 minutes, the pump screen lit up. He had selected regular fuel, but he never stepped out of the car. The numbers started climbing. $5, 10, 20. The pump was running. No one was holding it. I felt my chest tighten. That's when I noticed the driver's door. It was slightly open, just barely, like it hadn't fully latched. And something about the angle made it look like someone else had gotten out. I swallowed. There was no one else in the car. I was sure of it. The number stopped at $30 even. The pump clicked off. Still, he didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe as far as I could tell. Then suddenly, the driver's door opened wider, but he didn't step out. Instead, he leaned slowly toward the passenger seat, out of view, like he was whispering to someone beside him, someone I couldn't see. I told myself I was imagining things. I had been staring too long. That's when headlights appeared behind his car. Another vehicle pulling in, a pickup truck. The driver got out immediately. Middle-aged guy, work boots, tired face. Normal. Relief washed over me. He swiped his card and started fueling. I kept watching the sedan. The man inside hadn't moved back upright. He was still leaning toward the passenger side, still whispering. The truck driver suddenly froze, mid-pump. He turned his head slowly toward the sedan, and then he looked at me. His expression wasn't confused. It was afraid. He mouthed something through the glass. I couldn't hear him, but I could read it. "Call 911. My stomach dropped. Before I could react, the sedan's headlights snapped on. The man sat upright instantly, and for the first time, he smiled. It wasn't wide. It wasn't exaggerated. It was subtle, but wrong. The truck driver stepped back. The sedan's engine revved, and then it backed out of the pump violently, almost hitting the truck. The truck driver stumbled. The sedan sped off into the darkness without turning on its headlights, just swallowed by black. The truck driver ran inside, locked the door behind him, and that's when he said something I'll never forget. "He's back." The truck driver's name was Dean. He used to drive this route regularly. He told me last year a cashier disappeared from this exact station, overnight shift. Around 2 a.m., security footage showed a dark sedan at pump 3. The cashier walked outside, and then the footage cut to static. When it came back, the sedan was gone. The cashier was never found. No signs of struggle, no blood, no body, just gone. Dean said drivers started reporting a man in a sedan who never blinked, who stared too long, who sometimes parked without pumping gas, sometimes just watched, and then disappeared. I felt cold all over, because the clock above the lottery tickets read 2:27 a.m., and the lights flickered again. Dean grabbed my arm. "Lock the back door," he whispered. We both heard it at the same time. A car engine, pulling back into the lot, slowly, without headlights. The sedan rolled into view again. Same pump. Pump 3. But this time, the driver's seat was empty. Dean cursed under his breath. The car door opened, but no one stepped out. It just hung there, wide open. The store lights flickered violently, then went completely out. Emergency backup lights kicked in, bathing everything in dull red. Dean moved behind the counter. I grabbed the metal baseball bat we kept under the register. The front door handle rattled. Once, twice, then stopped. Silence. And then a knock. Soft. 3 taps. The door wasn't fully locked. Dean had rushed it. It creaked open an inch. I felt something in my gut scream at me not to look, but I did. And there he was, standing directly outside the glass, smiling, eyes wide, unblinking. But this time, there was someone standing behind him, in the darkness. I couldn't see their face, just a shape, too tall, too still. The man at the door leaned close to the crack and whispered, "Do you see him too?" Dean lost it. He swung the door shut and slammed the deadbolt. We both backed away. The knocking stopped. Completely. 5 seconds. 10. Nothing. Then the emergency lights went out. Total darkness. I heard footsteps inside the store. Slow, measured, moving between aisles. Dean whispered, "He's in here." I felt the air shift behind me. I swung the bat blindly. It connected with something soft. A thud. A body hitting the floor. The main light snapped back on. The sedan was gone. The door was locked. And Dean was on the ground, unconscious, bleeding from his temple. There was no one else inside. No broken glass. No forced entry. Nothing. Police never found the sedan. Dean quit that road. I quit the next morning. But sometimes when I drive past that stretch of Highway 17, I see a dark sedan parked at pump 3, engine off, driver staring through the glass, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for the next overnight shift. Thank you for spending your time with Lost Wilderness. If you enjoy slow, immersive horror stories, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Wherever you're listening from, have a safe night.